Mark Haddon derived much joy from dedicating his life to saving other lives as a firefighter in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. It seemed like he was born to save people's lives, and there was nothing that could stand in Haddon's way to complete his duty. Except for being an amazing firefighter, Mark was a caring and devoted husband to his wife Beth, and a loving father to his sons Will and Parker. However, the emergency call he'd receive on November 14, 2011 had completely changed his life. The woman on the line complained of severe pain in her stomach. With no time to waste, Haddon bolted to the emergency scene to see what he could do for the woman. When Haddon arrived on the scene, he immediately noticed why the woman was experiencing severe stomach pain. So time was slipping away fast, and Haddon and his fellow firefighters calculated that the woman was just minutes away from giving birth. They knew they had to act fast. The ideal solution was to rush her to the nearest hospital, but the question was whether they'd make it on time. It was a pretty serious call for us, Haddon told People. He related the stressful scene, exclaiming, "We got her on some oxygen, started some IVs, and literally, as we were getting ready to leave the parking lot in the ambulance, my partner said, 'We're about to deliver a baby right here.'" Haddon had to act very fast to save the woman and her baby. They had to cut her clothes off and deliver the baby before any complications ensued. A normal day at the office turned into an extraordinary struggle to save 2 lives. He might have saved many lives, but Haddon didn't have any experience delivering a baby. However, when thrown into the situation unexpectedly, he proved to be in the right place at the right time. He didn't know it yet, but this was going to turn out to be one of the most pivotal moments of his life, one that would change his life forever. Haddon went from caring for 1 patient to 2 when a baby girl was born and immediately handed to him, and this was when it all hit him. "She struggled from the minute she was put in my hands," Haddon told People. Just hours after delivering the baby girl, the mother and her child were at the hospital being cared for. The mother was already a single mother struggling to raise her teenage son alone, so she expressed her concern to the doctors. In fact, the mother made it very clear that she wasn't capable of raising her newborn baby and would have to put it up for adoption through the system. When Haddon heard the doctors talking about this new development, something told him to call his wife. Already a father of 2, it broke Haddon's heart to even think what this child would have to go through the adoption system, which might not find her a loving home. He jokingly told the doctors that he would be her father. Haddon knew deep down that he wasn't actually bluffing and decided to call Beth. As crazy as it sounded, the Haddons really wanted another child so badly, and this innocent baby girl seemed like the answer to their prayers. Beth clearly remembers the moment when her husband called her to share that she had just delivered a baby. "He called me and he was ecstatic. I mean, he delivered a baby, and who in the world gets to deliver a baby in their lifetime that's not a doctor?" she told ABC News. After Beth heard the news, she jokingly replied, "Can we keep her?" That's when Haddon told his wife that the sweet baby girl was going up for adoption because the mother couldn't raise her daughter. When Beth heard those words, she felt compelled to visit the woman at the hospital the next day. After Beth heard the news, she knew she had to jump at the opportunity. The Haddons dreamed of adopting a little girl for years, ever since they had the boys. "Ever since we had the boys, we knew we wanted more children, but I was preterm with them, so we knew that it wasn't possible to have any more babies," Beth lamented to People. "I will never forget that day. It was a day when a lot of things came full circle," Haddon told CNN. "Everything seemed like it was meant to be." But would the couple actually be able to adopt this baby girl? The next day, Beth, who works at an elementary school as an instructional coach, went to visit the woman and her newborn baby at the hospital with a prayer book in hand. "My heart just went out to this woman," she told People. Just as the doctor told the woman her daughter could be given up for adoption, something switched in the woman's face. It seemed as if she had finally realized what this had meant for her and the future of her child. "I want you to adopt my baby. I can't give my baby to someone I've never met," the woman exclaimed. Then she asked the nurse to bring in the baby for Beth to meet. As soon as Beth laid her eyes on the baby girl, she called her husband and proclaimed, "I think we just had a baby." She knew that the opportunity they had been praying for years was finally within arm's reach. Soon after Beth visited the hospital, the Haddons signed temporary custody papers and brought their new baby girl home. They named her Rebecca Grace, but she goes by her middle name and the nickname Gracie for short. At the time when Mark Haddon delivered this precious baby into the world, he had no idea that just 48 hours later, she'd be in his arms and his adopted daughter, and better yet, that a year later, Beth and him would have full legal custody of Gracie. It felt like I was winning the lottery. Haddon told CNN what it was like when they brought Gracie home, saying, "To see my wife's face light up when we brought Gracie home, I can't even begin to tell you." Well, it turns out Gracie also lit up on the faces of people in the community with this beautiful story. The family's heartfelt story touched the hearts of the community, with the entire neighborhood paying it forward to help the Haddons with their beautiful new addition. Haddon's contractor even paid to add an extension to their home for the new baby. They added a fourth bedroom to the house by building a partition to separate the dining room from the family room. Following Gracie's birth, the Myrtle Beach Fire Department also awarded Haddon a Firefighter of the Year accolade for his courage at the scene of the emergency and for giving Gracie another chance at life by adopting her. Gracie might be a Haddon through and through, but Beth and Mark have never hid the truth about her adoption from their daughter. We told her pretty much from day one. I've taken her to the back of the ambulance where she was born, so she knows, no doubt about it, Mark told ABC News. Mark said that it breaks his heart that he will still have to explain it in depth when she's much older and she still doesn't understand completely everything. But he said he'll be there for when the day arrives. At just 6 years old, Gracie actually knows the whole story about her unusual birth and entrance into the world. If anyone asks her how she was born, she says, "My daddy delivered me in the back of an ambulance and helped me take my first breath." Gracie and her father have a very strong and special father-daughter bond. Admittedly, she's definitely daddy's girl. "She is my best friend. We share an amazing bond." He even made a tough decision. Haddon retired from firefighting and decided to work on a volunteer basis, but his days are even fuller now that Gracie is in his life. "Every day I look forward to waking her up, getting her ready for school, then picking her up later on," Haddon told CNN while beaming with pride. Will and Parker fell in love with Gracie from day one. Will, now 15 and Parker 13, naturally took to the role as Gracie's protective older brothers, which will definitely come in handy when she gets even older. Beth might not be Gracie's biological mother, but she adores her just the same and loves doing girly things together. Whether it's watching Gracie practice gymnastics or painting their nails together, she feels blessed to be her mother. Adoption isn't always easy for families, but the Haddons knew they had made the right decision. Beth and Mark are always amazed at what a special person Gracie is and believe that she knows just how special she really is. When people talk about the adoption with the Haddons, they often tell them what an incredible couple they are for saving Gracie's life. The Haddons always respond to those compliments saying, "We didn't save her, she saved us." That's the way they see it. Did you like the story? Check out our channel for more.